The first body was discovered just after sunrise by two hikers exploring an abandoned limestone quarry outside the city. They had wandered off the main trail looking for an overlook when one of them spotted what looked like a mannequin lying at the bottom of a rocky embankment. As they climbed closer, they realized it wasn't a mannequin at all. It was a man. Police arrived expecting a single homicide. Instead, they uncovered something far worse. The victim had been missing for nearly 6 months. His wallet was still in his jacket, and his watch remained on his wrist. Detectives quickly determined he hadn't died where he was found. As crime scene investigators searched the surrounding area, one of the cadaver dogs suddenly pulled its handler toward a patch of overgrown brush about 50 yards away. Officers began digging. Within minutes, they uncovered a second body, then another. By the end of the day, 3 victims had been recovered from shallow graves scattered throughout the quarry. The discovery shocked the community. The victims had disappeared over a span of 4 years. Different ages, different careers. None appeared to know one another. At first, detectives couldn't find a single connection. But when investigators mapped each victim's final known location, a pattern slowly emerged. Every victim had disappeared late at night after leaving a bar, restaurant, or sporting event. Each had been walking alone. And every disappearance occurred within a few miles of the interstate exit leading to Quarry Road. Detectives spent months reviewing surveillance footage from nearby businesses. Most recordings had already been erased. But one gas station still archived its security video. In footage recorded the night before one victim disappeared, detectives noticed an older white cargo van parked across the street. At first, it seemed insignificant. Then investigators found the same van in footage connected to another disappearance that had happened nearly 2 years earlier. It had one distinctive feature. The rear passenger door had been replaced and was painted a slightly different shade of white than the rest of the vehicle. Police released still images to the public. Hundreds of tips poured in. Most went nowhere. Then a local mechanic recognized the van. It belonged to an appliance repair company across town. Investigators interviewed every employee. Most were eliminated almost immediately. One wasn't. His name was Scott Mercer. 48 years old. Quiet. Dependable. He had worked for the company for more than a decade. Customers described him as polite and professional. The kind of repairman families trusted to work inside their homes. When detectives reviewed his service records, they noticed something unsettling. On several nights when victims disappeared, Mercer had completed repair calls in neighborhoods just minutes away from where those victims were last seen. It wasn't enough to arrest him, but it was enough to place him under surveillance. For nearly 3 weeks, detectives followed Mercer everywhere. Nothing happened. Then, late one Friday night, officers watched him park near a crowded sports bar shortly before closing time. He never got out of the van. He simply sat there, watching people leave. After nearly an hour, one man stumbled out alone and started walking toward a dark parking lot. Mercer's van slowly pulled away from the curb. Before he could reach the man, unmarked police vehicles surrounded him. A search warrant was executed immediately. Inside the cargo area, investigators found restraints, heavy-duty plastic sheeting, disposable gloves, and microscopic traces of blood hidden beneath a rubber floor mat. DNA testing matched the blood to one of the victims recovered from the quarry. Another warrant led detectives to Mercer's garage. Crime scene technicians discovered fibers matching clothing recovered from multiple victims, along with limestone dust identical to the soil found at the quarry. At trial, prosecutors argued that Mercer deliberately searched for people who were alone after midnight, offering help or simply waiting until they became isolated. The white cargo van blended into every neighborhood. No one remembered seeing it because it looked like every other work vehicle on the road. After 7 weeks of testimony, the jury convicted Scott Mercer of multiple murders. Investigators believe there may still be additional victims connected to the case. Even today, after heavy rains wash away layers of soil, search teams occasionally return to the abandoned quarry. Because the first 3 bodies weren't found through brilliant detective work, they were found completely by accident. And detectives have never been certain that those were the only secrets the quarry was hiding.